While the left insists we need more illegals to keep the economy running, the fact is we're out of room. Look at Seattle. The city's fresh out of cash and can't afford to house the illegals. Now, when you have that many, the rent is just too damn high. So the city told them they had to go. No more free hotels, amigo. But they didn't like that. So they're staging a sit-in. Where? The schools. Dozens of them set up camp at the Garfield Park tennis courts. Democrat activists joined them in a show of force. No hotel rooms, no tennis. Investigative journalist Jonathan Cho went there to check it out, and the tennis squatter said, no bueno.
There's someone here who regularly comes to these events that spreads misinformation. And if that person is going to be here recording and spreading misinformation, I'm not sure that we can continue with this press conference at this time.
They're asking you to stop. They're asking you to stop.
It's a public park, last check. You can go in there. You can call the police if you want. Mira. Ven acá, ven acá.
Can you get a job?
Don't touch.
Can you get a job?
Don't touch me.
Come in here and show people.
Don't touch me, homie.
What the hell are you? How are you?
You call me an immigrant?
Are you not an immigrant?
No, bro. Why would you say that?
Because you're Asian.
All right, guys. So once again, we got to talk about the illegal immigration crisis, okay? Because the migrants that have been let into this country, they've gotten very, very, very uppity, okay? They out here demanding all types of crazy stuff. Like, for example, during Ramadan, they refused to eat meals that were passed out to them by taxpayers of New York because the food wasn't halal. So they basically threw the food away, claiming that, hey, we're not going to eat this, even though they didn't pay for it, even though you're not entitled to it, even though arguably you're here illegally. I mean, in my opinion, you are here illegally, but, you know, Biden's just letting anybody into the country. Despite all that, despite our generosity, again, they're rejecting food because it's not halal.
During the sacred days of Ramadan, advocates for Muslim asylum seekers claim the shelters housing them are disproportionately underserved, especially as migrants need to fast for the holiday.
Tonight, CBS 2's Christy Kalishian has the story from Queens.
This should be a time for peaceful reflection as the holy days of Ramadan continue. But for asylum seekers at the Belrose shelter in Queens, it isn't.
We need help. We really need help.
Abdoulaye Ba from Guinea, West Africa, has been in the U.S. for 7 months now. He's been living at the Belrose shelter in Queens with other single men, a majority of whom are West African Muslims, only able to eat just before dawn and after sunset during Ramadan.
So when the refugees get the food, they have to say to themselves, do I sustain my health or do I stay true to my religion?
Volunteer Muhammad Mazar and asylum seekers at the shelter say this is because the food they're getting is not halal, which is forbidden. Before being asked by security to come back to the shelter Friday, a group of asylum seekers came out to show they're wearing the same clothes and shoes they arrived with. Local advocate Kabir Javed shares how he's seen the city respond to requests to have religious groups step in to help, as others have with shelters that don't predominantly house Muslims.
When the Muslim organizations ask them, hey, make us the same, give us the same credentials as Catholic charities, there's no funding for them.
A City Hall spokesperson tells CBS 2 that about 65,000 asylum seekers are still under the city's care and that it's grateful for the Islamic leaders who've helped and that, quote, we will continue to work with our faith leaders on how best to provide migrants with the support they need. Ba fears retaliation for speaking out as he's gotten reprimanded in the past for criticizing the shelter's food, but says he's left with no other choice.
You can do delivery, you can clean. Most of the jobs, the citizens cannot do it. But they cannot give chance to us. We the Africans, we are ready to help. We are ready to pay tax.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. You're ready to pay tax. However, you're not paying taxes yet. Okay. Hopefully, again, if we have the right policy in place, if Trump is elected president, you probably won't get a chance, okay? Because we're going to have a mass deportation program that, you know, will remove a lot of these people from the country who, again, in my opinion, I just don't think that at this point we have enough room for, right? We just simply don't have enough room, okay? But with that being said, they're just not uppity about the food that they're getting, okay? They're saying we don't want halal food. We don't want the food that they give us in the shelters, the pre-cooked food. This is why New York City is giving them credit cards, again, because they don't like the food. Also, on top of that, the migrants think that they have rights, right? They think they have the same rights as American citizens, and they are boohoo whining and crying after getting arrested by police for causing a disturbance after allegedly making a big deal about the fact that they are getting their stuff stolen, but yet the hotel says, no, you guys are just not happy with the rules, okay? And police came by to address the situation. The illegals got upset, got arrested, and then started boohoo whining and crying, saying that their rights are being violated. And I want to talk about it, but before we get into it, I have to tell you guys about how you can protect yourself online with Aura. Googling yourself is probably one of the most uncomfortable things that you can do. It is very unsettling to type your name in a web browser and to quickly see that all of your sensitive and private information is out there on the internet for the world to see. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anybody that wants to target you. Your full name, email, home address, phone number is all out there for the world to see. This is why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps me reduce how much spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use my information in order to get access to my social media accounts, bank account, and other sensitive information. I don't know if you saw this, but AT&T revealed that over 73 million customer records from both existing and former customers were released on the dark web. They recommend those that were affected to use strong passwords, to monitor account activity, and to consider credit freezes or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. Well, the good news is that Aura does all of this for me. And best of all, I don't have to download several different apps because a company couldn't keep my data secure. If my info was compromised in the AT&T data breach, I wouldn't worry because Aura is doing all the hard work behind the scenes in order to keep me safe. I value my privacy and I value yours. So you can go to aura.com/BCP to start your 2-week free trial. Also, the link is below in the description.
Migrants living at a shelter in Yonkers were arrested this week, accused of being violent with staff members.
But as CBS 2's Jennifer Bisram reports, some migrants claim that things are being stolen from their rooms by security.
How are you feeling?
I feel bad.
22-year-old Albany Argate is a mother of 2 and migrant from Venezuela who's been living at this emergency shelter in Yonkers since she arrived in New York in September.
$600.
She tells CBS 2 during random room checks at the Ramada Inn on Tuckahoe Road, her money and electronics were stolen, and she's not the only one. Kent Arnal, a migrant from Venezuela also living at the shelter, was arrested Tuesday for disorderly conduct.
There's a guy unruly. He's getting very violent with everybody. He's throwing stuff at everybody.
It happened after a dispute between migrants and staff. Police body cam video shows Arnal pulling away from officers and this woman blocking the police car door. Police say at one point she attempted to strike officers. She too was arrested. Arnal says he acted out because he's fed up with his rights being violated.
They enter our rooms without knocking. They enter, search through our personal belongings when we aren't there, our money and jewelry.
The individuals that we're talking about and what's happening at the Ramada Inn appears to be limited to a few people who just frankly aren't happy with some of the rules.
Rules include no unsafe appliances like hot pots in the rooms. Police say officers responded to over 100 dispute calls at the shelter since last May when over 250 migrant families moved in. We're told no complaints of theft were made, but it's now being investigated.
We're not dealing with crime. We're dealing with disputes. We're trying to obviously diffuse disputes. There's a couple people that aren't happy with certain situations, certain rules.
We reached out to West Hab, the organization that runs this shelter. We were told no comment at this time. In Yonkers, Jennifer Bisram, CBS 2 News.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, I want you guys to understand what's happening here. So apparently the illegals are bringing in hot pots and certain items that are not allowed in the room. And rightfully so. I mean, you're bringing in items that basically allow you to cook in your own room, okay? And that's not something that I think the hotel wants to allow for obvious reasons, fire hazard, okay? And they're saying, look, we just don't allow you to do that. Like, we're sorry. Like, it is what it is. They're bringing these things into their rooms anyways, and I'm assuming that the employees of the hotel are going into their rooms, you know, doing random checks or whatever, and they're taking out things that they can't have in the room. Now the illegals are upset. They're boohoo, whining, and crying. They're mad because their rights are being violated because you have these hotel staffers taking things out of their rooms that don't belong in the rooms anyways, okay? And they're getting mad and upset to the point where police need to be called, and then they get arrested, and again, they're kicking and screaming and crying, talking about their rights. And, you know, my question is, what rights, right? What rights do you have as a non-American citizen, right? You're not a citizen of this country. So what rights do you have? Tell me, please. Okay, I understand you got human rights. I understand that. Which, you know, hey, you know, based off which country you in, that's subjective, okay? Because there's some countries that don't respect human rights. The fact that you're in a country like the United States of America and we haven't deported you yet, even though, again, a lot of these people coming here, they're not real asylum seekers. They're just taking advantage of the system. They're taking advantage of the fact that Biden's essentially letting anybody into the country that comes to the border and says, I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry and I'm escaping political persecution. They're going to let you right on in, right? You can just march right in. In fact, you can overrun the National Guard, right? This is what they did. The illegals at the border overran the National Guard and got into the country, were arrested, and then immediately released. Again, they're letting anybody into the country. And these people they're letting in the country, they're getting free food, free hotels, okay? They're getting, you know, probably free education for their children, healthcare, all types of stuff that the American people are benefiting from. Getting it all free, paid for on government dime. But yet, because they can't keep certain items in their hotel rooms, our rights are being violated, right? We're being treated unfairly. Again, it's amazing how uppity these migrants have become. Extremely uppity, entitled, okay? Entitled to the point where they feel like they have the same rights as American citizens, okay? Next thing you know, these people will be demanding to vote. They're like, it's our right to vote, right? Again, so it's just so funny to me because these stories are getting more and more and more ridiculous, okay? They're talking about which food we gonna eat, what food we not gonna eat. Well, if you hungry and you coming from a place where you're being politically persecuted to the point where you have to make this trek across the Atlantic Ocean in some cases, okay, all the way here to the United States, okay, you got to go up through Central America to get here. And you get here and, you know, you're saying we're just going to reject the food that you're giving us. I don't think you're a true asylum seeker, because somebody that needs help that really is escaping political persecution, a life or death situation, they don't have anything back in their home country. I'm assuming they're poor, impoverished. If you come to a country like the United States, I would just be happy to just be getting food in general, right? I'm getting free food. I'm getting a nice place to stay. Have you seen some of these places these people be staying in these countries? Right? They look like slums. So you go from staying in a slum to staying in probably what, a 1-2-star hotel in the United States of America. In some cases, depending on where you at, the illegals are getting 3, 4, 5-star hotels. But I'm just saying that the Ramada doesn't seem like it's very high end. So maybe it's 1-star, 2-star, who knows? Regardless, you're in much better living conditions than you were back in your home country, and you boohoo whining and complaining, claiming that your rights are being violated. Like, this is ridiculous. This is nonsense. And again, this is why when President Trump is reelected, because I believe he will be, that's why I'm saying when, not if, right? When at this point, when he's reelected, we have to have a mass deportation program. We have to. We have to. I mean, we don't have a choice, okay? We've let too many people into the country. We can't handle it, right? It's out of control. There's too much happening. And I don't even think that we have experienced the worst of it yet. Okay, we have Venezuelan gangs operating within the country. And we've already seen the results of it, and I think it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. I mean, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the crime rate in Venezuela has dropped because all the gang members, all the criminals say, hey, we're better off going to the United States. Biden let us right on in. All we got to do is say we're hungry and we're escaping political persecution. That's it. Again, it's a damn shame how much this country has fell off a cliff under the Biden administration. It is absolutely worse than you could imagine. Could anybody imagine when Biden was elected that the country would be in this bad of a shape? Now, don't get me wrong. I thought the Democrats would do bad. I didn't think they would do this bad, right? I did not imagine a scenario like this. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So, hey, Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.